What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Fast Break of Tundra Baller, and today we're going to be talking about some more Clippers basketball. So, just recently, the NBA draft just happened last Tuesday and Wednesday, a few days ago. So, as you guys know, the Clippers have a fifth pick, and they also have the 36th pick and the 52nd pick in the second round. So, today we'll be talking about every draft pick that the Clippers got in this draft. I wanted Caleb Wilson. He was my favorite, but he was most likely going to be in the top four, which it did happen. He got picked at number four by the Chicago Bulls. But if the Clippers didn't get him, I wanted Darius Acuff Jr. or Keaton Wagner. And before we talk about that, there was a Clippers watch party last Tuesday at Intuit Dome. It was a free event. Anybody was able to pull up. But if you're a Laker fan, boo, because there were some Laker fans. I don't know why they would pull up, but it was really fun. And there were a lot of things. There was like draft combine stuff, and you were able to get like your height, your weight, or not your weight, but your wingspan, and a lot of things like a broad jump, a vertical jump, and one more. It was the shuttle run. Pretty much the sprint, slide, backpedal, slide, all that stuff. But it was really fun, and we got Keaton Wagner as our fifth pick. I did post a video on my TikTok. Make sure you guys follow that Tundra_Baller_0. And the video did really well. The few videos I talked about the draft, it went really well. And yeah, it was really fun. I was able to see some of my Swell members for the first time in a few months. I haven't seen any of them about 2 months because the season ended 2 months ago in the playing tournament around mid-April or so. But all of us, we were really happy about welcoming Keaton Wagler. And the day after, for draft day number two, there was a invite only event for Clippers season ticket holders. So me, the Swell, and season ticket members, we were invited to this Meet the Pick event. We were aware of this before, so we were able to listen to a Q&A in person with whoever the Clippers drafted. And of course, it was Keenan Wagler, so we were able to listen to him. And before that, we listened to Lawrence Frank. And before we talk about that, let's talk about Keenan Wagler a little bit. So we talked about his game last episode, but we'll talk about pretty much his story. So he was born into a basketball family. His parents, Logan and Jennifer, they met while playing basketball at the same college in Central Arkansas called Hutchinson Community College. His sister also played at Hutchinson. She won a junior college national championship there. And then she went on to play at Mid America Nazarene University, which is an NAIA program. And his brother also played at Hutchinson, then played at Mid America Nazarene. So, so a huge coincidence, right? They played at the same community college, and then his siblings play at the same NAIA school afterwards. Well, he didn't go to those schools. He went to Illinois. He had a lot of offers after high school, but as a freshman, he was 5'8" and weighed around 110 to 125 pounds as a freshman in high school. And he played a lot of basketball growing up at the Lenexa Rec Center in Lenexa, Kansas. He played a lot of competitive games every week with coaches and former college players. And he joined an AAU program called VWBA Elite throughout high school. He was offered to play at other top programs, but he stayed loyal to this team, the VWBA Elite. And he was able to play a lot of high competition at the shoe circus like the Nike EYBL or Elite Youth Basketball League and the Adidas Three Stripes Select Basketball. And since he was a fifth pick, you would think he was one of the top recruits in the country, right? After high school, but he wasn't. He was ranked 149th in the country, 25th among shooting guards, and the number one player in Kansas. So the only thing he was top at was was his ranking in his state, which is Kansas. And he led his local high school, Shawnee Mission Northwest High School, to back-to-back state championships. And he also won the Kansas Gatorade and Max Preps Player of the Year. So going on to the draft, he played really good and he even had a 46-point game against Kansas. And the thing is, he gained 14 pounds in one summer before his college career. So he went from 168 pounds to 182 pounds, which is crazy. The coaching staff, they gave him a meal plan to get stronger and bulk up more. And so back to the event. Lawrence Frank, he talked to us before Keaton Wagner talked. Pretty much it was a Q&A. And he pretty much said that he first noticed Keaton Wagner when he saw him practice with Illinois. Well, specifically the Clippers GM, Trent Redden. And the Clippers wanted to find a player who had five things: a competitive character, who loves winning, willing to improve, responding to adversity, being a good teammate, and dealing with hard times. And they absolutely loved his game. And then, so when they flew Keaton down to for a workout in the recruiting process, they had a dinner with him for front office, and they would pretty much talk about the workout plan and what they're going to do. And they would also watch film. And the coaches, they would rank each prospect. So obviously he wasn't the only one, but for Keaton, they took him out to dinner with steak and potatoes to get his weight up. And Keaton's workout, he worked out with Kingston Flemings. So like what Lawrence Frank said, a lot of prospects, they don't want other prospects in the same workout as him. But he was willing to work out with Kingston Flemings. So at the start, it wasn't really that good for both of them. They were missing a lot of shots, but when it came to the competitive parts of a workout, Keaton really stood out and he turned up. And then he did film with Jeff Van Gundy later. So that was pretty much a lot of it. Uh, and then when he came into the arena in at the first time, he was just like, "Wow, this is amazing!" Because we were literally on the court, so that was a pretty cool experience to be on. This was the fourth time I ever been on the Clippers court, so this was or no, fifth time. Sorry, fifth time ever, fourth time at Intuit Dome. So this was just a really amazing experience, and able to see him that close too, and with some rapid questions at the end, he was asked, what would you like to experience in the NBA? And some of us like whisper like win a championship. And it was like to win a lot of championships and we were all cheering like yeah, 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 because we never won a championship. But I'm telling you guys, 2027 Clippers championship. I'm gonna say every year. I'm gonna be right eventually. But yeah, it was just a really fun event. And then we did some chants with him afterwards because the Swell, we do a million chants per game. So now let's go on to the second round, all right? So we are going to be talking about our 36th pick, Bubba Miller. So he is from Spain. He played from Real Madrid at 17 years old, and he helped Spain win the FIBA U19 World Cup in 2019. He moved to the United States to play basketball at Florida State in 2022. But here's the thing though. The NCAA suspended him the first 16 games of the season in 2022 due to his travel expenses being paid for a training camp before he committed to Florida State. His family repaid the benefit and they appealed the decision, but it was denied. So he had to serve that 16-game suspension, which is pretty much about half of the season. And he was considered one of the top international prospects in 2022 going to college. And after his first two seasons in Florida, he averaged 6 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 0.9 blocks. And he declared for a draft in 2023, but he returned to college and transferred to Florida Atlantic. And then he improved his numbers in his junior year. Starting all 34 games, he averaged 11 points, 7 rebounds, 2.7 assists, and 1.7 blocks. And again, he started all 34 games. And then next year, for his senior year, he transferred to Cincinnati and he had a better year. He averaged 13 points, 10 rebounds, so he averaged a triple double, and 3.7 assists. And so pretty much like statistic wise, this guy he is 6'11" and 208 pounds. So 208 pounds with a 9'3" standing reach. So he's just 9 inches away from touching the rim, just having his arm up like that. And he is very athletic and he can guard multiple positions. He can hit threes, but not consistently. He shot 29% in his college career, but 19% his senior year. His free throw shot could also improve, also 65%. It needs to get better. And scouts say that his development might be affected because he went to 3 schools in 4 years. And he also needs to get his weight up, like Keaton Wagner. So, so yeah, 6'11" and 208 pounds. He's easily going to get bodied against NBA bigs. So the Clippers had this 52nd pick. They picked Henry Vassar, but right after that pick, they traded him to the Hawks to move down for the 57th pick and cash. And then a little bit later, the Clippers traded cash to the Rockets for the 55th pick. So pretty much two for a price of one. And with a 55th pick, the Clippers got Nick Martinelli. So he played all 4 years at Northwestern University. So he is a little bit older. And same thing for Bubba Miller. Both of those guys, they played 4 years in college. But Nick Martinelli, he stayed loyal and he played all 4 years at Northwestern. And he is the back-to-back leading scorer in the Big Ten. So he was the leading scorer for the last 2 years in the conference in the Big Ten. And from his freshman year to his senior year, he averaged 2.6 to 8.8 to 20.5 to 23 points per game. He is a 6'7" forward, and he is a great finisher and has a good mid range, 51% from the field altogether. He has a big frame where he could use a lot of contact to create his shots, and he also hit the three pretty good, also 41% his senior year. But a big thing that he can improve on is his defense. So I'm excited to see this guy play in the Summer League. So the last draft pick that we're going to talk about is Narcisse Ngoy. So this is a little bit of a weird one. I didn't know this was a thing until until till this draft pick happened, or I heard about it like the day after. So he was picked with 57th pick. So this guy, Narcisse Ngoy, he's a 7 foot center. He was the MVP, defensive player, and most improved player for a French Elite 2 league this past season. And he committed to play college basketball at Auburn University back in March. He did not actually declare for the draft, but because he is 21 right now, but because he is turning 22 before this upcoming season starts, he is automatically eligible to put his name in the draft. So he pretty much put his name in the draft, but not really. But he was automatically eligible to be in the draft because of his age. But after the pick, and he didn't expect himself to get drafted, but the Clippers still drafted him at number 57. But he talked to the Clippers and he said this on social media: I am thankful for the LA Clippers' confidence in me. I fully intend to honor my commitment to Auburn University, and I'm looking forward to wearing the Auburn Tiger jersey for the 26-27 season. So when I saw this, I was like, what? Like he could do that? But but there is a term called a draft and stash. So since the Clippers drafted him, they still have his draft rights. So when he's ready for the NBA, he could just go on to go with the Clippers. So whenever he's ready to play in the NBA. So after this college season, he'll be like, all right, I'm ready for the pros. I'm going to be a Clipper now. So they have his draft rights whenever he's ready. So about his game, he is 7 feet, 270 pounds with a 7'7" wingspan. So for 270 pounds, that is a pretty good weight for a 7 foot center. And it looks like this guy is pretty big also. And he's known as a rim protector. Like I said, he was the defensive player of the year of a French Elite Two league. He's a great rebounder and finishes great around the rim. But scouts wonder if his game will be enough to earn minutes in the NBA. He is not as fast as a lot of the centers in the league today. So, what are my thoughts overall about this draft? So, we had 4 draft picks. I don't even remember like recent years of when the Clippers had 4 draft picks. So, and our fifth pick, that is the closest we've gone to number one after Blake Griffin. So, so pretty much the highest draft pick the Clippers has gotten in 17 years. So that is crazy. 17 years. Yeah, and it was just amazing to see. And seeing Keaton Wagner in person, our fifth overall pick, me and Swell, we were very excited. So, so the second round picks, I think they are pretty solid. Like Bubba Miller, he was supposed to. Some people said that he was supposed to be a late first round, but he wasn't picked in the second round, and pretty much early in the second round at pick number 36. So this guy might be a steal. And I see some people hyping this guy up, like saying he's the next, he could be like a Giannis type of player. So I'm excited to see these guys in the summer league, but we won't be able to see Narcisse and Ngoy, of course, because he is going to college. But whenever he's ready, I am ready to watch him play. So, what do you guys think about all the draft picks? And we will talk about more about the summer league also next week. And I have a big announcement. And if I am ready for the announcement, I will tell you guys that next week also. So this will be pretty exciting. The summer league is in 2 weeks. So yeah, guys, I'll see you guys next time.